This is a 2015 Subaru Forester. In the previous video in this series, we replaced the AC condenser. You can see a nice shiny new AC condenser down there. And also replaced the valve cores for these two valves. So check it out if you're interested in doing AC work on your Subaru Forester. In this video, I'm doing the AC expansion valve, which is right there on the firewall. And I'm also doing the AC evaporator, which is buried way down behind there, in the very back under the glove box. And why do you need to remove the evaporator? The evaporator is inside the cabin, and the air blows through it into the cabin. And if it has even a tiny little leak, it'll smell refrigerant in the cabin. And the refrigerant smell is kind of unpleasant, and it's not exactly good for you. So even though the leak is so small that the AC performance is not really affected very much, it is really noxious, and it's something that you would want to correct. And of course, in some cases, it may be a more serious leak that affects the performance of the AC system. The first step when I do this is to recover all the AC refrigerant from the system. So I've connected my gauge to the AC system, and then I've connected it to my recovery machine with the recovery tank. And this is just to get all the AC refrigerant out for two reasons. One, it's expensive and it can be reused. And B, it's a pollutant. You don't want to just blow it out into the atmosphere. Give a hoot, don't pollute. The AC evaporator is under the dash and behind the glove box. I started by removing the glove box and the glove box surround. They look like this. This is all pretty straightforward stuff. Next, I removed the blower assembly, and it looks like this. Just a quick guide on how you disassemble everything here behind the glove box, because I know some of you want to see this. First, you want to start with this electronics module right here. It has a bracket up here, and the other side of the bracket is down here, 10mm nuts. It comes out. Then you want to disconnect everything. You unplug this relay, pull it off its bracket that is sitting on. You want to unplug the fan blower down here. Then you want to move to the remaining mounting points, which this one you've already removed. You got one down at the bottom. Let's see, where is it? Right here. And then there's one, actually this is a bolt that goes right in here with a 10mm head. And then there's all the way back there, kind of tough to get to, another 10mm nut right up here. And with that, you can remove the air box, and you can remove this relay block. Actually, you unfasten this relay block from the air box, and then you've also removed this control unit. So that's, at that point, gives you access all the way to the back to the housing of the evaporator. I did remove the lines that pass through the firewall into the engine bay and connect with the rest of the AC system. I also removed a bunch of other components, all to get to this cover of the evaporator housing. The evaporator is inside this housing back here. And this is where it got a little bit tricky, because this has some hidden fasteners that if you don't know where they are, then you'll be left wondering why this thing is not coming apart. So I'm going to point out the locations of the hidden fasteners for you right now. If you're looking toward the front at this housing, this is how it appears. And the hidden fasteners are on the back side of the housing, where you cannot see them. Right over here, there is a hidden screw, and this screw is right up against the firewall. You cannot see it from any angle. You just have to know that it's there. It's a Phillips head screw, and you just feel around with the screwdriver until you can get this screw out. But even with this screw out and all the other visible screws out from all around the housing, you see the holes for the screws here, there's still one more thing that's holding the evaporator housing, and it will not let it go. The thing holding the evaporator, after you've removed all the screws, is this metal spring clip. And where this spring clip goes is right here. Okay, so it fastens this bottom corner of the housing to the other half of the housing that is fixed with the car. So if you don't know that this is here, you're going to pull and pull and pull, and this will not come off. But you have to reach up with a little screwdriver, pop this off, and then this entire thing will come off. After you remove the housing, this evaporator just slides right out. There, it did put up a little bit of resistance. And the one thing you want to note is you have this thermocouple, and it's just inserted into the fins. You can pull it out, and then you insert it back in the same position on the new evaporator. This is my old evaporator and the new evaporator side by side. It looks like a very good match, and as always, I will give you a link to where you can purchase one of these at a very good price if you need one for your car or for a job that you're working on. These are the tubes that go between the evaporator on this side and the firewall on this side, where they connect to the expansion valve. And these have O-rings on them. These are the original O-rings, and I replaced them with O-rings that I matched out of my O-ring set. Now, if you look closely, you can see right here on this flange that goes into the evaporator where it was leaking. It was leaking right here, and it made this deposit. So that was the source of the odor of refrigerant that we smelled in the cabin right there. I have put the new evaporator into the housing, and I fastened the tubes onto the evaporator. Now I'm going to go on the engine side and look at the expansion valve. This right here is where the tubes come out of the firewall and attach to the expansion valve. This is the new expansion valve. I'm going to attach it on here. I've reattached the expansion valve, and it has two bolts, one here, 4mm hex key. This is the same size that's on the inside going into the evaporator too. It's 4mm. Next I have these lines for the AC. I'm going to connect them to the AC valve, but first I'm going to replace their O-rings. The two black O-rings are the O-rings that came off the lines, and the green ones are the ones that are going in to replace them. The lines are connected now, and they just have one hex bolt with a 10mm head that holds this flange in. Now comes a very important step. Before I reassemble the entire glove box and blower and everything in there, I've hooked up my gauges, and I'm going to run vacuum on the system to test that it's all okay and it's holding vacuum. I've got the gauges under vacuum. Now I'm just going to wait and see if they move. So my gauges showed that the vacuum was dropping. This means there was a leak. So I need to find that leak. To find the leak, I'm going to use this refrigerant detector. It has a sniffer. It's a sniffer. It detects any refrigerant that's floating around. And all you have to do is point it at the area where you suspect a leak. So with the detector on, it beeps, and if it detects anything, any refrigerant coming out, the beeps will accelerate. So using this detector, I determined that the leak was not on the inside at the evaporator. It was right here where I reconnected the lines. So I'm going to have to redo this. I replaced the O-ring on the suction line, which is the larger diameter line. I used a slightly thicker O-ring, and now the system is holding vacuum. It's about a half hour later and the needle has not moved. I left this overnight about, let's see, how many hours? About 14 hours, and it hardly budged. So I think we're good to go. I'm going to reassemble everything, recharge the system. The AC system is ready to refill. Here's how I do it. I have the gauges connected to the high side and low side valves. And I have my line going from the gauges into my recovery tank, where I previously recovered a bunch of refrigerant R134A. The system is under vacuum right now, as you can see. And I'm just going to open the valves and fill it with however much it takes. And once it fills, usually it'll get to about 80 or 100 pounds of pressure inside the system, which is the same as what I've got inside this refrigerant tank. Then I can close it up and run the engine and adjust the pressure as needed. There, I just filled it up and you can see the level, the pressure going up. And it's just going to go to right about there. This is where I'm going to shut off the feed from the tank. I've just started the car, turned on the AC. Now I'm going to adjust the pressure here by adding more refrigerant, try to get it up into a normal operating range. So I just opened the valve on the low side, and the suction from the AC system is just going to draw the refrigerant in, and the compressor is going to build up the pressure on the high side, as you can see on the right. Now I'm going to stop it right there, and I'm going to check how well it's cooling. The answer is it's not cooling very well yet, because this suction line coming back into the compressor is just only slightly cold or cool, and it needs to turn really cold. Then I'll know that the AC is functioning properly. So I'm going to add more refrigerant. Increase the pressure on the high side a little bit. Okay, let's close it up and we'll check it right here at this level. Another way I check how well my AC is working is with this temperature gauge, and here it's showing me the cabin temperature is getting down into the 40s. Temperature down to the 40s is definitely good enough for government work. AC is now working adequately and cooling very nicely with no leaks. So thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in any of the equipment or parts that were used in this video, please check the description for links. And leave any questions or comments in the video description, below the video description. Thank you very much again.